my time is more valuable than money, right? And my time with the life that I want to live with my family, doing the things that I want and helping the people the way that I can the most is way more valuable than money. And besides, I think when I learned this, I actually started to make more money because I was more conscious of my time. And I've seen that with my clients too. They're saying no to a lot of the distractions that were just going to waste their time. And now they're able to be more effective with the time that they have, and they're making more money.
Hello, welcome to Outer Spaces, a podcast dedicated to empowering landscapers, hardscapers, and outdoor living professionals. I'm Joshua Gillow. My mission through this show is to create a powerful resource for you, someone who is striving to grow their company well past the $1 million line, but might not have all the tools and processes to do so. Here in Outer Spaces, we are passionate about breaking the chains of small mindsets and helping contractors just like you take control of their businesses and their lives. With nearly 3 decades of experience designing, selling, and building six-figure outdoor living spaces, I've made all the mistakes. Starting with $0 in my pocket, and through the grace of God and a ton of hard work, I now own multiple businesses that afford me the time with my family and the lifestyle I've always dreamed of. So join me as I share what I've learned along my journey, strategies, and other contractor success stories right here on the Outer Spaces podcast. Now, let's get on with the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Outer Spaces podcast. This is your host, Joshua Gillow. And this week, Ryan Lee joins me again, and we're going to talk about how to increase your number of qualified leads. We're going to go deep into exactly what is a qualified lead, how do you qualify leads, and things you should be doing before you ever leave your office in order to go out and meet with a client. So, guys, buckle up. This is a good one. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Ryan Lee is back on with me today. And if you didn't catch it last week, we talked about how to increase your price. You know, that's like the thing that we all want to know as contractors. How can we possibly make more money in less time? And if you didn't hear that episode, pop back over to last week and take a listen. We drop a lot of great nuggets, and Ryan really opens up a lot of really cool ideas for you to think about. This week, we're going to talk about how to increase the number of qualified leads you have in your business coming in. And, you know, it's, man, what breaks my heart when it comes to our industry is to see so many hardworking men and women spending so much time chasing clients that really could not afford them, and they don't even offer what the client truly wants, needs, and desires. But we have this deep hope that if we go out and meet with people and talk with them, that you're going to be able to close them on something that they may or may not even want. And I know that because that used to be my story. I'd go out to everybody that called. I said, you know, out of 7 billion people at that time on the planet, they called me. I have to go out and perform. I've got to go out and meet with them. I mean, what would they say if I didn't? Ryan, what would they do if I didn't go out and I said, Mrs. Jones, we're just not a good fit, and all of a sudden she would pick up her phone. I knew this exactly what would happen. But the story in my head was this, Ryan. She'd pick up the phone, she'd call all of her neighbors and talk about how much of an asshole I was because I told her we couldn't help her. And I was so afraid of that as a recovering people pleaser, right? That, man, I'm telling you, I was like, holy moly, I can't do that. There was just too much guilt there. So I'd go out and meet with everybody. And the problem was that I was closing 30 to 50% at best of the work. And so I'm sitting here thinking, well, that's pretty good, right? That's what I hear everybody else is doing. You know, 3 out of 10 isn't so horrible. 4 out of 10 isn't so bad. But dude, I got to a point in my business where I started thinking, wait a minute here. If I want to double the size of my company, I need to double the amount of time I put into it. I wasn't thinking teams back then because it was all about me, right? But it was at the same time thinking like, you know, I'm putting in 70 hours now a week. How am I going to put 140 hours in a week to double my company?
Good luck.
So I said, wait a minute here. So what exactly? And I'm already running ragged now, feeling guilty, not spending enough time with the kids and the family and all that stuff. And I'm like, so how do I solve that problem? And that's when I started to read much deeper into sales and started to figure out that just because I started the business and had to be good at sales or it didn't work, doesn't mean that I have to keep doing what I used to do. You know, and you had a quote on Facebook I saw when I was looking up before episodes and says, we are addicted to our current circumstance. And I couldn't agree with that more because I was so stuck in how I used to do things, how I learned from my father, how I learned from other people around, how I watched my competitors close deals and I couldn't. And I would watch what they did and then I'd copy it and then it wouldn't work for me or it would work for me or whatever. But there was never confidence in the system itself. I always felt like, you know what, you just got to get lucky. That's why 30 to 50% is good. When I realized that, no, that's not true. We should be as an industry closing 75 to 80% of our work. And I say that because 100% means that your prices are too low. you should be around 75 to 80%, because then at least you know that your market is pushing back and you're pushing against it. 75 to 80% is our target. That's my target with Yes Express, is to help our industry get to that level so they can spend those Fridays, like we talked about in the last episode. They can spend those Fridays home with the family, going camping, going fishing, doing whatever they want to do, and not have to be thinking about working the entire weekend just to make ends meet. So Ryan, it's probably the longest intro I ever did. Welcome back.
Dude, I love just geeking out about this stuff. So thanks for having me back on. Everything you said resonates. And I think it feels good to be busy, like if we're not out giving a quote to someone who's probably not going to go forward with us, what else would we be doing? We don't want to sit home and feel lazy, so I'll just go be busy. And then we can tell our friends that we worked 80 hours this week, that's also is like a badge of honor. So it all fits within this mold, and we are addicted to our current circumstances because it's comfortable. If we have to listen to this episode and we have to change, that sucks. Because what if it works? What if we become more successful? What if we make more money? Then we're going to feel guiltier and greedier. That's not good. So I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, Josh. I'll just keep working 80 hours a week, not making any money, not having any time with the family, because that's what I've been doing and I'm still alive. So I'll just do that.
Dude. And you know what? The crazy part is that is very much a lot of my story too. And I didn't realize this until I became more self-aware, but I was keeping myself so pacified with busyness because, Ryan, I didn't like who I was as a person when I wasn't busy. And I didn't have to face that when I had fires to put out constantly. I didn't have to face the mirror, I call it, to look at the mirror and really give myself an honest inspection, a shield inspection, like looking at myself saying, man, what is that? Is that shame? Is that guilt? Imposter syndrome? What is that going on right now? But when I was busy, I didn't have to face any of that stuff. So when I slowed the busyness down and started to, if you will, turn the concert off and start listening to God, and start listening to everything going on around me, it shifted everything for me. Because I'm like, wait a minute here. Who am I without the busyness? Who am I without all of that? And I couldn't answer that question, Ryan. It scared the heck out of me. Busyness was easy and familiar. It was always familiar to be busy. I grew up being an achiever and being busy. But when I had stopped the entire concert and everyone stopped talking and I sat there looking around thinking, who is Joshua Gillow without all the noise? Who's Joshua Gillow without all the busyness? That was one huge void of a question that I've spent years figuring out and finally on the other side of that. But man, that took courage that I did not possess at that time to ask that question and to seek an answer for it.
Well, I hope everyone's listening and taking notes right now, because all of us have to go through that journey at some point or another. And most of us, if you're like me, it sounds like if you're like you put it off as long as possible.
Oh yeah.
And it's scary. Oh my gosh. The fear there is huge. The courage that it takes, because dude, I'm guilty of it too. I went years just being busy. It's just way easier to do that and then have to deal with reality. Yeah. And I just want to encourage people that are listening. I hope you're taking notes with what Josh was saying, because you got to go through that process. And I hope it sparks for someone out there today. This is your day. Someone told us that we have 7 days in a week. I don't know who invented, the Mayans or somebody invented the calendar, but I guarantee entrepreneurs, if we gave you 10 days a week, you would just work 10 days a week, Yep. But if I said, you know what, we changed it, you only have 4 days in a week, you could get all the shit done in 4 days. The rules are fake. We make up our own rules. And so because you have 7 days, you fill them. But if you had to get all that shit done in 3 days, you could do it.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd realize that not everything has to get done. You would start to prioritize. And that's kind of what this is about, is let's prioritize who we want to do business with, why we want to do business with them. And now you can actually start to get momentum and build the life and the business that you want, instead of letting life happen to you. Because I'm guilty too. Dude, I used to love getting leads. I could just be busy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, why are you meeting with people that is not your ideal client avatar? So, that's probably the first and foremost. If you want high quality leads, who is it that you can serve at the highest level?
Yeah.
I've got this coaching business and I want to help everyone in the world. That's just who I am. I was going to be like, oh, I could help painters, I could help landscapers, I could help anyone who's dealing with someone in someone's home, right? Roofers, all this stuff. And I'm like, no, but I'm the landscape lighting guy. Like, I really am the best at helping people bolt on landscape lighting. So I've got friends that come to me and ask for business advice. Sure, if we're just going to a dinner or something, I don't mind giving advice, but like, as a paid professional, I can't help them because my calling is to help a specific niche of people to bolt on landscape lighting. And that means I have to say no to a lot of people. Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, but I don't want to add landscape lighting. Could you help me with sales and pricing? I know you're really good with that. I'm like, could I? Yes. But will I? No. Yeah. Like, that's not my thing. Okay. I'm building a community of these other people. So it's really hard to do because I say no to more people than I say yes. But my time is more valuable than money, right? And my time with the life that I want to live with my family, doing the things that I want and helping the people the way that I can the most is way more valuable than money. And besides, like, I think when I learned this, I actually started to make more money because I was more conscious of my time. And I've seen that with my clients too. They're saying no to a lot of the distractions that were just going to waste their time. And now they're able to be more effective with the time that they have, and they're making more money.
You're absolutely right, dude. Clarity is key. If you're not clear on what you're doing and who you're doing it for, I mean, like, surgically clear on those things, you're going to be flopping around trying to serve everybody, be a jack of all trades and a master of none. And you're going to get paid that way too. So if you really look at your offering of services and you say, you know what, I am downright dangerous and I love building paver patios, then make that the core of your company, right? That's what it is, finding out. And then, okay, that's your core of your service. Now, who do you serve? Now, here at Master Plan, we know that we serve healthcare providers. I mean, we have an entire avatar, but we know healthcare providers are well insulated through every economic up and down. They don't have time to go out and build their project themselves, nor do a lot of them have the know-how. But if you're going after auto mechanics, well, they're pretty DIY. And there's nothing wrong with auto mechanics. I'm just saying, if you know exactly then you know how to narrate your entire conversation to those people, and being super clear on who you're speaking to, what their average house value is, where they live, where they vacation, how many kids they have, what they do for fun, what their hobbies are. Once you get it so dialed in, then you can speak directly to their souls and not trying to speak to everybody in the old shotgun effect. And that's the same with marketing too. I mean, this can go in a lot of different directions, but I know at this point, our main objective for today's, conversation is how to increase your qualified leads. And I believe the first answer to that is to figure out who the heck you're talking to. If you're talking to everybody, then I suppose everybody's a qualified lead, and we know they're not. Some have the ability to say yes, and that, if you were listening to the last episode, they have, $10,000 sitting in their bank account, and still blows my mind, right? $10,000 sitting in their bank account, just waiting to be deployed into lighting or outdoor living or whatever it might be. And if you have that and you're selling services that are $10,000 services, then you're good all day. But if your clients, these leads that you're getting in the door, have a budget of $2,000 to $5,000 and you're selling $20,000 or $50,000 solutions, I don't care how great you are. It's not going to work. There's no alignment there. So how have you found through your marketing and sales coaching, how have you found to help people when it comes to qualifying lead, get the right leads in the door to even be able to work with them and qualify them?
So, like, kind of just what we already hit on a little bit is I literally write down some of those questions that you asked were great. Like, where do they go on vacation? How many kids do they have? Think of your clients as one person. Like, who is your perfect? Like, think about your previous jobs. Like, who were those people? What neighborhood did they live in? Like, who did they associate with? What other services did they buy? Like, make the list as big as possible. What kind of car do they drive? Like, do they go to the movies? What restaurants do they go to? What do they eat? Like, the more you can just get into their head, the more you can start targeting, right? And targeting is what you're talking about. Like, you could just get a shotgun and just start shooting everywhere, and you might get something. Like, you probably will. You'll get lucky, right? But if you target and you narrow it down, you're going to actually just go for just the people that you want, which is going to increase your closing rate from that 30 to that 90%, right? And so I'll get kind of straight to the point. Once you know you're targeting, then you can start to look at different vehicles like, direct mail. Like, you could direct mail can be really good, and it can also be a waste of money, right? If you do the shotgun approach, you're going to spend way more money than you're going to receive. But if you target the right people, right? But that may not work for your avatar. I don't know, right? Facebook might be a vehicle to use depending on your avatar. It might not, because people don't go on Facebook to find outdoor living people. They go to scroll, and if your ad is, wow, that's a really cool thing, there's a longer sales process there, but that might be the right vehicle. Might not be the right one. Maybe Google ads, right? But the number one vehicle that I've found to get high quality leads every single time is partnering with what I call referral partners and building a referral partner network. And this is through my research, through me building my client avatar. And I'm like, wait, my ideal client lives in at minimum $1.5 million house, right? They do these types of activities. They've got a media room. They have a pool. They spend a lot. They don't just hire a landscaper. They hire a landscape architect to design it. Like kind of your example on the last episode is like, they wouldn't hire the hand-drawn guy, right? Yep. They're hiring a landscape architect. They're spending money on the finer things in life. Their AV system costs over $100,000 to have a smart home and switches and lighting and all this stuff, right? So when I know that, I look back. Oh, and they always hire an interior designer. So I look back in the common trends, and it was like, well, wait a minute. They're buying from people that they like and trust. So why wouldn't I just go after those relationships? Like, who do they already trust? Who are they already in front of? And I'm like, well, I don't know who their friends are, because their friends also live behind the gate in the gated neighborhood. And I don't like frequent those car dealerships. Like, I don't have a $500,000 car, right? So I was like, well, they know their landscape architect, their home builder, their interior designer, the realtor. Like, there's all these people they have in their inner circle. So I can infiltrate those people and build relationships so that they go, hey, you know what? One thing we haven't talked about is outdoor lighting. What do you want to do for that? And the interior designer's bringing this up. And they're like, well, I thought you were just interior. Oh, no. Interior extends to the exterior. And part of our interior experience is at night when the light turns on out there. Oh, yeah, we need that? Yeah, you definitely need that. When I get those leads, they're not leads. They're jobs. It's not like, how much is it? It's more like, when can you do it?
Yeah.
Like, pricing is not a factor. Some of these other things we've talked about, objections, like, there are no objections. Like, it's all relationship based. That is my number one source of high quality leads.
Dude, yeah. I'm just sitting here. I'm hoping the listeners are listening, because, man, what a dinner, taking somebody out that could be a strategic partner, what a dinner or a lunch could do for your business. If things are slow right now and you've been pumping all kinds of money into Facebook, and let's face it, you know, if anyone's listening to this podcast knows what I think about Facebook ads when it comes to our sector, exactly. Right? It's like people can spend a shit ton of money on them and with not a really high close rate with them. Like, most of the time you're scrolling, I don't know if it's like you, but you're eating Cheetos, watching Netflix, scrolling through, just trying to stay awake. And you're like, oh, cool, outdoor living space. Yeah, you give me a quote, whatever. Go on scrolling and eating Cheetos. And I don't eat Cheetos, but the point is, right?
But if
I did, hypothetically, you're in a very different part of your buying cycle. Like, that's awareness. Like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. I'm getting tired of that old shed falling down. Maybe a nice pavilion would be nice out there. Oh, there's a pavilion. Good. That'll make the wife happy. And all of a sudden you got this lead. You get all excited. Like, you start sweating. You got this new lead, and you're going to go out and close this client. And they're still wiping the Cheeto dust off their fingers when you meet with them to shake your hand, right? And it's like they have no clue what it costs. They don't know what they need. They've done no research. They're so early in this process that those leads coming from the Facebook side, you've got to be careful with. They're not all leads are created the same. If you're getting clients like Ryan's talking about here, who come into the relationship with, hey, you were referred to me by my interior designer, by my architect, by my home builder, by somebody, your chance of working with that client is significantly higher because of that connection that's already made. So not every lead is as valuable as every other lead. So be thinking about the source and where you're getting this lead from. That will make a big difference in exactly how you approach and strategize the best way to help that client. We were just talking about how, you know, when you're working, that not every lead is as valuable as every other. So if you want to start on your thoughts about the source of the lead and how it can affect your strategy.
Like, after we talked about referral partners and stuff?
Yeah. So I went into if you're getting leads from Facebook or from a referral partner,
Okay. Yeah.
they can be a different strategy because, one is doesn't know who the heck you are and there's still Cheeto dust involved. And the other one is like, you just went out to dinner Thursday night with their family. So you know each
Perfect.
other, like that kind of thing. Yep.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, the source of lead is important. In fact, every time I'm talking to someone, they tell me about an opportunity that they did or didn't get. I'm like, what was the lead source? Like that is like the number one thing that I ask, because, like if it is a Facebook lead, they didn't go onto Facebook to hire you. And as business owners, as sales professionals, like when we think of lead, like how can I make 10 grand today? like a lead is like, I want to close it right now. But that's not like, once you understand marketing, like the funnel is wide at the top and small at the bottom, right? And so Facebook, if you are going to pursue that, you better understand that you need an intense follow-up strategy. It's a long-term game. You need a lot of different things to nurture that lead over time. And most people are not patient enough or have the process. So it's like a waste of money. But if you will build your referral partners, they may not be ready right now either. But the cool thing about referral partners is they don't depend as much on like traditional marketing, direct mail, Google, things like that. When the economy slows down, you feel it. And you're like, well, I used to be able to spend this much money per month and always get this number of leads. Well, that same amount of money is going to get you less leads in a slower economy. But what I've found, if you're targeting the higher end people, that still may be true. But if you have enough relationships, like maybe you're in with 10 pool builders, 2 of them might go out of business, but you still have 8. Right. And then you also need interior designers. You need all these other people. And so your slowdown doesn't happen quite the same, because let's face it, like wealthy people, like they don't go poor in a recession. They have less money and they slow down for a little bit, but it's not the same. They'll still build, they'll still finish building that multi-million-dollar house. They'll still want to have their outdoor living space. Like they might slow down, but they don't stop. And that's why I like targeting those higher end people.
It makes perfect sense, dude. It makes perfect sense. And, they aren't rich because they're lucky, at least most of them, right? Most of them have know how to manage money and they know how to manage economies so they can win on both sides. But that's definitely some huge advice. Now, my question for you is, when it comes to qualifying clients, regardless of the vehicle in which you found them in or they found you in, when is the best time to qualify? Is it early in the process, when you're just starting to get to know each other, or do you wait until you hand them a proposal and then you find out that you aren't a good fit? Like, when is the right time to start qualifying your client?
Well, if you're looking to just stay busy and waste time, then wait till the end. But if you want to be efficient and you want to make the best use of time, when it's that initial phone call, right? And some people are so busy and that they're not big enough where they don't even have someone answering their phone. And so they're just like winging it. Like, all right, so let me get your name, let me get your address, let me get your phone number, and let's meet up. Like, I understand that because I've been there. But if you can literally like write down a formal process and a questionnaire that everybody gets asked, you're going to save yourself so much time. And pre-qualifying isn't as much, it's not just about eliminating people. It's not like you're trying to not work today. You're eliminating the people who aren't ready, but you're also setting yourself up for success for the people who are ready. So a lot of people just think of it as a negative thing. But if you'll ask them questions about like, how long have they lived in the property they're in? Why now? Like what was the event that caused them to reach out now? Because a lot of times it's like, well, it could be we just moved in. It could be, well, we've been in the house 17 years, but this event happened. Maybe there was a problem. Maybe there's something exciting. Maybe there's an event, a wedding. Like you want to find these things out because those are things that are going to help you later on and really kind of understand like, well, I just saw your Facebook ad and it seemed like maybe one day we might want to do this. Okay, well, maybe like already there's red flags going up, right? Or maybe it's like, well, yeah, we got your number from Susan Smith. And you're like, oh crap, Susan Smith spent like $500,000 with us. This is awesome, right? Well, how do you know Susan?
Yeah.
Oh, well, her housekeeper and I live in the trailer park, 26 miles away. Okay, that changes the conversation a little bit, right? So you want to ask questions to find out like who these people are. Do they match your ideal client avatar? And then one of the things I'll do is after I think they're a good fit, I'll say, is it okay if I just tell you real quickly about us? And this is like a 2-minute elevator pitch. We've been around this long. These are some of the things that differentiate us. And that's when I'll throw out that price and say, typically these are our minimums and these are our averages. Does that sound about like what you're looking for? And that's just a great way to start the pre-qualification process. And you find out a lot of information on that call that is, again, going to help you decide if it's worth your time to even meet with them. And if it is, you've done a lot of really important groundwork to set you up for success when you actually meet with them.
Dude, I love that. And you did something in there. I know you're doing it thoughtfully, and I hope the listeners picked up on it. When he was talking about, when he was role playing with that fictitious client, did you hear how he asked permission to talk about himself? Did you hear how he asked permission to take the next steps? Could you talk more about that and why you do that?
Well, it's all just psychology, You want them to know that like they're the client. Like you're here to serve them. This is not about you. Even though like it is about you, like you're going to have to like, earn their business, but it's part of that earning. It's the respect. And it's like, if they decide, yeah, I want to hear about you. In fact, later on, when you get to like the price thing, if you can get them, you mentioned it on the last episode, if you can get them to come up with their budget, if you can get them to ask these questions, like, so tell us, how much does it cost? These are buying questions. These are buying signals. And it's all and I don't have a psychology background. It's just things I've learned over time. Mm-hmm. There's a complete difference between, well, let me tell you a little bit about us. Like that comes off completely different than, would it be okay if I told you a little bit about our company? And like, yes, absolutely, please. Like it
disarms them.
Yep.
That's exactly right. And that's what I love so much about permission, is because you're disarming them. They're expecting someone to come in and tell them why they should hire them right away for whatever price that they tell you it's going to cost. That's what, the statements and demanding and all that. That's what they're expecting of contractors coming out. I'm sorry, but we've given them that expectation from, eons of that kind of exposure. So now shifting it. And if you're not shifting it yet in your business, then you're missing a massive opportunity to not just serve your clients at a higher level, but to be able to help more people and get the best solutions. So in that, when you ask permission, are you guys open to chatting about what this might cost? Instead of, hey guys, this is what it costs. It's a gigantic difference. When they say, well, yeah, of course, that's what we called you to do. Awesome, cool. And then you get into it, right? But the goal here is not to dictate, but to have them come along on a journey with you and have it feel like for them that they're driving the bus when you truly are, by asking and leading with great questions, right? Guiding them through this process. You've done it 1,000 times, you've done it 100 times, whatever, 10,000 times. They haven't. They're expecting a leader in this conversation. So if you're looking to qualify leads, how to increase that and do better on your number of qualified leads coming in, your clients are going to expect during the qualification process that you are leading them with great questions, and to have a process in place where you know what the outcome is going to be based on how they answer their questions. And you can spend an entire lifetime trying to figure out what that might look like, or you can hire somebody. If you're in the lighting world, hire Ryan. He's got this figured out already. If you're in the landscaping or outdoor world, hire me. This is what we do. I've taken 30 years to figure this out, and now have the opportunity to cut all the BS out, get rid of the manipulation, get rid of all of that stuff, and just ask great questions and let the clients lead the charge with your guidance. And eventually they're like, well, that makes perfect sense. That's exactly what we want to do. We're like, yeah, so do we. Perfect expectation setter, right? And if not, we can guide them right back out to where they need to go, because we're just guides. We're not here trying to, get a chain around their ankle and pull them in to buy something from us. This is about guiding them, and they make their own decisions. I've had people that call up in the Yes Express, and at the end they're like, all right, close me. Come on, man, close me on this. This is what you do. You close, right? And I'm like, dude, I hate that word. I use it because people know what it means, but I hate that word, because the last thing we want to do is close. We want to open relationships, not close people off or close deals. We want to open relationships. And
I love that.
And every time that someone says that, I'm like, well, then you must be reaching out to the wrong sales coach, because you know what? We don't close anything.
I love
And
that.
the crazy part is they all call back and they all sign up because they're like, well, that actually felt kind of nice that someone wasn't trying to hardball me or say, hey, sign up now or tomorrow I'm going to steal your cat and paint them orange. You know what I mean? So it's like,
you're supposed to close me
wild.
so we can have an argument and I can tell you
exactly.
that I got to think about it.
You're robbing me of that. I'm like, no, I'm just never going to go there. That's not how it works, because that
so
might have worked
smooth.
20 years ago. That might have worked 20 years ago, but it doesn't anymore. And we have to be adopting and adapting to the world we live in now. And if you're stuck in your old ways and you're addicted to your current circumstances and you're not willing to open your mind to a new way, then, well, just get used to whatever results you've been getting, just more of that. But if you want more out of life, you want to be able to serve and impact more people's lives, you want to be able to help people without wasting your time by qualifying them, you need to shift your perspective from, are we looking just for a quick transaction, or are we honestly looking to serve people? And if we're honestly looking to serve people, then questions and taking your time and spending 80% of your time quiet and 20% of your time asking questions won't be much of an ask. Because you're like, so I got to work less and I get more? Yeah. You just got to know how to do it and what order to ask those questions. And the next thing you know, clients are like, yes, or awesome as well. No, we're not a good fit. That's great. We just saved both our time. This is amazing. Let's keep moving.
Love it, man. Well said.
I could talk all day on this. So any other thoughts you have on this before we wrap up?
No, I think you did a great job. I think that guide, the helper, advisor, when you can just flip your mindset into that, man, just take the stress off yourself. You're not selling people anything. You know, it's so stressful to be a salesperson. Like, I got to convince them to do something they don't want. Like, who wants to do that? That sucks. That's terrifying. But when you really are a helper, an advisor, a guide, like it's addicting, you know? And it's like, man, I really care about this person. I want them to have a positive experience. They told me about, again, I learned this by asking questions. Maybe they told me about how they were hesitant because last time they got burned. Like, as a human being, if you have a heart, you don't want that person to get burned again. Like, if you're convinced that you are the best and you have the best quality and you know you're going to bend over backwards and you're not going to screw them, then you're truly doing them a disservice by not helping them. Right. And that's different than selling them. And so,
100%.
Man, it just makes the game so much easier if you can convince yourself that you really are a helper, a guide. It's easy, you know, and it's not easy at first. You're going to get uncomfortable, and that's going to be a sticky point because you're out of your comfort zone. But do this in stages. You know, just get 1% better every day, and your new comfort zone 30 days from now is going to be different than what it is now. 60 days, 90 days. Imagine yourself 5 years from now if you can just make those small changes. I mean, if you told me I'm like, I have a podcast now, I do all this stuff. Like 5 years ago, that'd be nuts. Like, that's not who I was back then, right? But every day I level up. I get out of my comfort zone. I do things that are like I can't believe I'm giving this guy advice. He knows more than I do. Like, that doesn't feel comfortable to me. But I know I can help these people. I can serve them at a higher level. So I guess that would be my last thing, is just get outside your comfort zone. Try just one thing that you've heard on this podcast. And worst case, it doesn't work, right? Like, who cares? It wasn't working for you before. Just get a little bit better each time.
I love that, Ryan. And to listeners, you know, not everything works every time. So you can try a lot of different things and they're not always going to work. There's no perfect, you know, solution for everything. So when it comes down to conversations, try different pieces on, like Ryan's saying. You know, the crazy part is once you get the courage to try something new, that courage starts to build. Pretty soon you'll try 2 things that are different, and then 3 things. And then a year from now, you won't recognize yourself. You know, Ryan, I never thought I'd have a podcast or have the opportunity or the privilege to speak to so many amazing people like yourself. And, you know, now it's something that I do. But 5 years ago, I would have bet money against that. Right. So that's the cool part about it. You just never know until you move forward. So Ryan, thanks for coming on and breaking this topic down. And next week, guys, we're going to talk about how to increase your closing rate. I know it's probably what everyone's excited about, going out, and it's springtime now, getting out into the world and trying to bring more home each and every day. So we're going to go through and some of our best tricks and tips on how to increase your closing rate without having to break the bank to do so. So guys, see you next week.